Bust my buffers, motherfucker! You will run, you all be exterminated! Exterminate! Exterminate!
On the Doctor's route to Gallifrey, now travelling alone, he sees a vision of the President getting assassinated, and so sets off to warn him. Upon reaching there, he gets framed to look like he is running away and killing guards, which eventually leads to the point which he saw in the vision. How will it play out now? Let's get straight into The Deadly Assassin, written by Robert Holmes, and was on the air from the 30th of October to the 20th of November, 1976.
I'm Nick.
And I am Conrad.
And we are Peter's United. No. And we are the Eyes of Harmony.
We hope.
Well, I hope so, or we're doing a load of podcasts or nothing. So, Deadly Assassin. Damn. Okay, well, straight away, the weird thing. Narration at the start.
Yeah, no, that was
What
interesting.
is that?
Well, it was just sort of, I guess it's just kind of nice little build-up and mood setting, I guess. I actually really liked, especially how Tom Baker said it.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, it was written well. I was just like thrown off it because I forget it every time. I'm like, oh wow,
Yeah.
narration. Oh god.
Yeah, it didn't immediately, I didn't immediately remember it, but yeah, no, it works quite nicely with what they're trying to do here.
And it's a nice build-up and lovely costumes and sets. Is one of the first thing I want to touch
Yeah.
on. Damn, whoever designed the guards' costumes and the they've kept those all the way through, and then the kind of
Pretty much.
the back kind of things with the thing on
and
the shoulders.
It's like the designs they use. I think this is the first story that they use these kinds of Time Lord designs.
Yeah, with the proper
because
dress
in
code.
the last time they appeared was the Three Doctors, and they were completely different there.
Yeah, properly it was like the Three Doctors. Really, they have odd appearances.
Oh yeah, like Genesis and stuff.
And Planet of the Spiders.
But
weird.
this was the story that defined their costumes.
Define just Time Lords in general, different
Because
classes.
from here on out, that costume would pretty much be the same one right up to the new era.
And it's still here. Even the guards are kind of pretty much similar with the kind of helmets and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
They've just
It's
made a
such
bit of a
good
darker
design.
colour.
And you mentioned the set. The set is really nice. It's very convincing. Cool, and it has a decent. I mean, the areas that they come to aren't so varied because they're of course we're in the same building, but it really works in the context of the episode.
But it just looks nice. It looks like a kind of where a posh, in the main capital would be. Then the usual quarry for the Matrix.
Though they do have kind of a jungle.
Yeah, that's nice. That was a nice change. So it's a good build up. So the Doctor, lands on, and then he escapes using the hat and
Well,
scarf.
the thing is that the main problem with the Doctor, at least initially, is the fact that he parked badly. Not so much.
And then the guard gets killed by the cloaked figure.
The mysterious cloaked figure, yeah, which kind of frames the Doctor.
Yeah, and then he has to double back, and he goes back to the TARDIS anyway, which gives him more time to plan, which was kind of smart. That was smart.
And then gets sent away to the centre.
And then he escapes.
Which might have been intentional.
So then he escapes.
Get to that later.
He escapes, and then he, disguises himself. That was all enjoyable.
Oh yeah, that's a funny scene with his robe being put on the side and.
Oh yeah, the robe on the side, yeah. And then he has that conversation with what's his name?
Are you talking about the reporter?
Yeah, the reporter.
I have it written down here. Hang on. Runcible.
Runcible, what a name.
Yeah, and actually, I really like that because it does give the Doctor a bit more to it. Because once
They mentioned about that big problem.
because the problem with the Doctor
When he
and
stole
like
the TARDIS.
and the fact that they clearly know each other from like
School days.
Yeah, school days, which is kind of interesting.
One thing which is a bit odd though is how he goes like, oh, have you had a facelift? Which like kind of a joke about regeneration is like,
Yeah.
oh, quite a few. And he looks at him like he's a madman. It's like, yeah, but regeneration's why are you looking at him like that? You know all about regeneration. Why are you acting like he's a crazy man? If it was a human, granted. But Time Lord don't make sense.
Well, perhaps I can look to that more as the fact that quite a few, in Time Lord terms, considering would kind of because they're all sitting round and just
They don't really die and regenerate. They grow old and then regenerate.
yeah, it doesn't happen to them nearly as quickly as say.
They live well. They're probably going to live longer. Well, now that he's got a new cycle, probably not. But like they live longer in years than the Doctor would because the Doctor gets killed by being heroic and stuff.
Yes.
But so it's good. And then the Doctor sees the gun, so he runs up, and then the cliffhangers all good. Like it was.
Oh
good,
yeah, I think that's probably perhaps one of, if not the best cliffhanger ever. One of them, I think it's up there at least.
I think the
fact
Dalek
that,
one's better.
like, what?
I think the one in Dalek's better with the Daleks with the sucker at the end and
yeah,
Barbara screaming.
perhaps. I don't know. I'd have to think about that, but it's one of them. It's up there.
Oh yeah, this story.
Because like with
yeah.
the president just getting like murdered and stuff. Like I mean, we kind of already saw that.
Yeah,
like,
that's
Vision.
that's the one thing I think that takes away from it though is that we saw it in the Vision.
Yeah, but
then it happens anyway.
Yeah,
That
it
is
happens
kind of
while
wild.
the Doctor's there aiming at someone, and like you think, oh no, he's going to be heroic and he's going to save the president, and now he's going to. Oh.
Oopsie.
Oh.
So yeah, it was good, and then
And actually, I have to say, when the president first appears, the music which they have like as he's coming out, like it really does evoke quite a nice atmosphere. I have to say.
yeah, they got Gallifrey done right. But what did they ever reveal that it's the Master in the first episode? Did they say it was his name or it was just a cloak figure? Because they show
No,
they show him.
They don't actually even mention the name until the Doctor figures it out.
Yeah.
Because you see him beforehand, but you don't know what the heck that thing is with the decaying face.
One problem though, in the credits, I saw it. It had the Master. It totally ruined it. Like for any child watching, if they were trying to do this big build-up, they don't have the name in the credits. You know.
Well, the kids wouldn't be paying attention anyway.
Well, we'd hope so, but you know, some there do read the credits. I mean, the more grown-ups would have been like.
Besides, I don't know who the Master was. Because last I saw him, he was like
Frontier
running.
in space.
Yeah, and he was like running away, and he was the guy with the beard and stuff. Who?
Roger Delgado, yeah.
Yeah. They don't necessarily know that this cloaked figure is him.
Yeah.
Like, especially when you see his decaying face.
Yeah,
like,
that is really good makeup. I know we made the joke in Keeper of Child, they're pinball eyes. They're still actually.
No,
not
they're
that
really
bad.
creepy.
They're creepy.
They're really creepy.
I kind of wish they kept those.
Yeah, and the teeth, because they removed some of the front teeth.
Yeah.
It's the same mask and costume. I double checked it. It's,
Oh, right, yeah.
it's the same mask, it's the same cloak. They just took out like the front teeth and the eyes.
I like the eye.
Which I think made it all the more creepy and a lot more like it is like just kind of a rotting
Rotting
person.
corpse trying to hold on to life and not letting go.
Yeah.
So then the Doctor gets caught, obviously, because he's just shot the president. I mean, you know, he's not going to get away with that. And then, you know, he goes into kind of these people then start trying to defend him. Who is it? Spandrel and Engin, or whatever, that's their names. And they're really great. And finally, there's an old character who's not like ambiguous and unhelpful. This one's actually an old guy who's helpful for once. You know, like usually they kind of have old people who were just a bit kind of thick and not really listening to the Doctor.
True.
These ones actually listen to him. You know,
They do, after
trust
some
him.
convincing.
Yeah, well, that's the good thing. They're not straight away on the Doctor's side, but after like a bit of convincing, especially with the gun not shooting straight at all,
Yeah.
that was really well done. So episode 1 and 2 flow really well.
Oh, yeah, really
especially
nicely.
the when he first enters the Matrix.
Oh yeah, that's a great moment.
Crazy. It's like a living hell. It's like Heaven Sent. Is what I'd come, you know, parallel it to. Kind of, it's like a
In
living
way,
hell.
Yeah, in a way. So this is like more different, like, you know, you get like all sorts of crazy things happening. Planes swooping down, clowns in the sand, and
The
trains coming at
samurai,
you.
yeah. So the first one is like he's on the hillside and he's falling.
Samurai.
So then he whips his scarf around.
Which actually, I noticed that he didn't have that when he came into the Matrix.
I know, yeah.
It's just sort of there now.
He willed it into existence. I think
guess so. I guess so.
But yeah, so he whips it round and the samurai cuts it and he falls off a cliff, which is an obvious like Doctor Who dummy because his leg bends upwards. Like if you get a screenshot of this, you'll see his like leg, like he'd have a broken leg before he even fell off the cliff. It's quite funny. Really.
And then he died, but then he didn't die.
Yeah, it's because he had great Artron energy or whatever.
Yeah, whatever that was.
So he lives, and then there's the trains, which we made, which you saw at the beginning of this review, our little recreation with Thomas, because it's quite a funny kind of cliffhanger, really, but it's still actually quite terrifying when it comes towards it.
You have caused confusion and delay, Doctor.
Buff my buffers. But anyway, yeah, so the Matrix scene, then really good cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Like,
well, the Matrix scene, but in part 2, that done amazingly. Part 3, it kind of I love the story, but the fact that it lasts from the end of part 2 to the beginning of part 4, this entire
padding. That was my point. Entire of episode 3 is padding. I actually checked this last night after I finished the story. I went back to episode 3 and I watched all of the Doctor in the Matrix scene on fast forward. And if you actually watch, you can still actually keep up with everything that's happening because there's so few lines in that. The only important scenes are actually when there's the Master talking to the guard and the two Time Lords, Spandrel and Egan, watching the Doctor. Yeah. Anything else, you can actually keep up with what's happening on fast forward. Like I was still like managing to see everything that was happening. The plane and then the Hunter. The Hunter was scary.
Yeah.
Like if you watch, if any of you have ever watched Jumanji.
No.
There's a guy who hunts Robin Williams' character, like he hunts humans, and he reminded me a lot like that. But I think this actually came before it.
I mean, yeah. Ultimately, this doesn't ultimately mean so much. I mean, they could have just cut it like the end of episode 2.
There's no plot. There's no plot.
But at the same time, like what they have here is actually really well done. Like
it's good quality.
It is constantly like high tension. The Doctor's trying to find ways to stop this mysterious assassin.
And he gets shot.
He gets shot. He almost gets poisoned because of the river. You know,
it's great. He's like.
And then, like on the other side of things, the Hunter almost gets killed by an explosive grenade that the Doctor laid, which is kind of funny for the character. But he got this, and this point he's got to do what he's got to do. And besides, you know, he's fighting
for his life. You know.
Yeah, in someone's mind. Yeah.
He's got to do it, but yeah,
it's like really high tension. Like you're constantly like wondering, oh, what's going to happen next? Like, the Doctor brings out like the dart and the poison and stuff, and like that was really like everything that it's done is done really well. The issue is
just
it doesn't really
goes on for too long.
It goes on for too long, and in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't.
It adds nothing really to the story. It's great because it's that build up and it's like a good scene. But it does nothing. It doesn't continue the story. We don't find out any more about the Master's plan. There's nothing. The only
thing that happens is the fact that
you find out that it's Goth.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that you find out.
Which is a pretty big twist, though it makes sense if you look back at it. Like,
yeah, you can kind of see.
You can kind of see it, but actually, on my first time watching, I don't think I quite caught that.
I don't think I did either. First time watching, you don't get that it's Goth, but then it makes sense. So then, kind of episode 3, there's not much to talk about. I mean, the plane scene was bloody cool at the beginning, and then the Hunter bit is good. But once you've watched it once and you know what's happening, it's kind of one
which you watch it is quite high. Like you are really invested with it. Second time, maybe not so much since you already kind of know what's going to happen. But for a first time watch, I will say that is
brilliant. Yeah. But yeah, no plot development or really character development. It's just good entertainment is what I'd call it. Good entertainment, but really plot-wise did nothing really for me. So then episode 4 happens, and this is when everything starts happening.
Oh yeah, I love it. Episode 4 is so good. Like
massive build-up and everything.
Massive build-up. Like after slowing down, you like things start happening. Goth is brought to death. The Master is dead.
Yeah, that was a really good twist.
Oh, that was.
And then when he wakes up, it's scary because his eyes are always open.
Yeah,
so like you just suddenly like Like, you could be staring at his face, his eyes wide open looking at you, then suddenly
he just moves. Yeah,
just moves.
that
And
was
it's very, very creepy. And yeah, he
and the
starts...
master plan makes sense. It expands the lore very nicely and like brings a bit more
Yeah,
backstory
first time-
to Rashalon. And
Yeah, this is the first time Rassilon is ever mentioned. Also, yeah, the 12 regeneration rule, 13 bodies.
It's a couple of
but
firsts. Yeah.
This lays down Time lore.
It
So
really
Robert
does.
Holmes does it absolutely, great. And it's nice to see the Master not always. I mean, at the end, he can take over the universe and Gallifrey, but to start with, it's just him literally not wanting to die.
Yeah.
That's what I like. It's a very, very different kind of villain thing. It's not trying to overtake or trying to live. It's just trying not to die.
Pretty much.
Which I really like. He'll take down all of Gallifrey just not to die. Like,
yeah.
There's probably humans out there in the world who would, do that just not to die. This is the thing. People are afraid of death, and I think that adds a really kind of human side to the Master. That he's terrified of death. Never wants to die. He even runs away from the Time War because he doesn't want to die. I love that trait, and I wish they'd do that more. And that's why I was a bit kind of in the end of The Last of the Time Lords with John Sims one, where he chooses to die just to spite the Doctor. It's kind of like, I don't think he would have.
Well, no, it wasn't really to protect the Doctor.
No, to spite.
To spite. No, it's to spite Rashalon because of what they did to him.
No, not End of Time. Last of the Time Lords. Where he gets shot. That one makes sense because he's like revenge and he's already dying.
No, I think he already had the backup plan there in like.
I guess he knew he was never dying.
I think he already had that planned out into some of the description. I mean, maybe he didn't intend to die as he did, but I think he had the backup plan there.
Yeah. Okay. No, actually, I retract what I said then because that does make sense. Yeah, he did it for Ring and everything. And then he's like, when he wakes up, he's like, never die, never die. I love that. Johnson is great. Anyway, on this one though, the actor who plays it, Peter Lang? Peter, is it? Peter Pratt. He's great here. Great voice and really, really creepy. Definitely.
Movements are amazing.
Just general makeup was brilliant. Absolutely fantastic. Everything production side of this is top notch. Great, classic Who really. And I love the wooden TARDIS. The wooden TARDIS interior. That's a
the secondary control panel. I mean, I do prefer more.
The white one. Yeah.
It was kind of nice.
Nice for a few stories.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's not really too much bad in this story. It's just kind of.
I really like. Actually, minus the fact that it's a bit minus a little bit of padding.
Really, yeah.
Actually, that is pretty much all I've got. The other note in terms of my bad is. There is cardboard wreckage at the end.
Oh yeah, that would kill the Doctor. One hits him right on the head. It's the Doctor's regenerating. Come on.
Yeah, but actually, I just talk about the ending. That was quite intense and quite.
Oh yeah, he's like.
He brought out the eye. He's unplugging it. Well, he's unplugging it, and it's really kind of a fright. They're throwing each other about, and this whole. Everything's going down, the building's falling apart. It's really one of the most, high.
There's a high threat there. Yeah, there's a threat.
Ending. Yeah, no, it's really, really well done.
I think a few. Yeah, I mean, there's it's mainly nitpicks for the bad side.
Really, yeah.
There's not much. I mean, I wonder how many lines are actually in episode 3. I want to see how thick the script is for it, remove all the direction based.
I think a lot of it was more on Tom Baker's reactions and facial expressions.
Well, they wanted to see how they could do a story without a companion. Could they do it? And bloody hell, they managed it.
Yeah. No, everything.
Though the kind of old Time Lords are a bit companion-y, to be honest, they are a bit.
In a way, but they're just kind of a one-off. To be honest, actually, that might have been interesting had they gone forward with something a bit more. Because actually, that was, I think, according to the DVD and description, the thing within the know, it was saying this was a way to convince Tom Baker that having a thing without a companion wouldn't
really work.
Yeah.
And then they got proven wrong.
Yeah.
But they went nah anyway. The thing is, I like Leela and I like the face
I do, I agree, but I would have
liked to see a bit more. Yeah.
It would have been interesting to see how it would have worked with without.
They kind of did in the David Tennant, the
For
specials.
A little bit. Yeah.
That kind of is.
I mean, that was because he was bitter in a way. Kind
Yeah.
of, after all the losses.
But yeah, so I mean, it's just a really, really strong story. I
That's
mean,
fantastic.
definitely
I think this is in
worth
my
buying.
top 10.
It's definitely in my top 20, probably top 10 if I was really kind of going. If I was having to compare, it might get there. I mean, yeah. So there's not really. I don't want to like super detail it in case it ruins it for other people because we kind of touched on the
We
the
kind
good-
of
the
told
good stuff.
everybody everything, to be fair.
Yeah,
really.
but I mean, like, I don't want to like go super like draw right into the mechanics. I mean, the side characters are all good. They're all strong, have their own personalities. That
Yeah,
flows well. Music's good. The tension's
Really
good. Oh yeah, no. The best thing about In the Matrix though is the Doctor is vulnerable. He is vulnerable.
Yes,
You
constantly.
feel worried for him. You're not. That as a child, you think, oh god, the Doctor could actually die here
Yeah,
because
and he
he
got
gets
shot.
shot. Because he gets shot and there's blood. He looks vulnerable. He's
And-
not
Yeah,
immortal anymore.
and then he tries to like remove that.
Yeah, by going, I deny it! And then
it
the
comes
Master's
back.
like, you cannot deny my reality.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that was done really quite well.
They do the Matrix okay in The Ultimate Foe. It's done alright, because they return there in Trial of the Time Lord, The Ultimate Foe. But it's only 2 episodes, so they can't get it as well as this
No,
one.
no,
Though
it's
they do a
actually
really
a
good
bit
scene with
more.
hands and mud and the Doctor's getting pulled down, and there's a great cliffhanger.
Also, I'd like to say the fact that they had the clown suddenly in the sand was kind of odd. But
It's
at the
odd,
same
but it's
time-
just creepy.
Yeah, it is creepy.
Also, the Doctor with the syringe, Jesus, that's
Oh yeah, the syringe with the
It's like, you shouldn't have come to my domain, Doctor. Like, oh god, oof.
Yeah,
It's horrible. The spider and the spiderweb sob is obviously fake.
Yeah,
It's like, oh look, a toy spider.
you didn't see it on screen for that long though.
I know, but like, yeah, it's just so. I guess go on to your 3 good points.
Ooh, so many here.
The best. You can go 4 if you really need.
Think about this.
The choices.
Yes. Because look at the list. Like this is quite a long list of good.
Well, yeah, let's go.
I have to probably I say it
Core is tough.
have to go 4. Part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4.
There we go.
Yay! I'd say the Master in general has done so well here. Like he's really creepy. He's really manipulative, controlling, and his motivations are understandable. And he's consistently got this idea, like something which, like, even like he somehow figures out, like, he figures out all this like extra bits about like rational and all that, which the other Time Lords just don't quite see.
He's smart. It shows him as super intelligent.
Yeah, really.
evil
Like
villain.
he's one step ahead of the game. Like
Basically for all of it until the very
until he just doesn't quite. He's not quite able to.
He
pull the
almost
hand-
wins.
Yeah, he's just not able to quite pull the handles quick enough.
Yeah.
It's
That's
just-
the decaying body.
yeah. It's just that's ultimately the fault. I would say that the Tom Baker in general, like again, like his portrayal, like and like even episode 3, like I said it's like a bit, bit padding. Like he's constantly like you can see from his face and from like everything he does that he's in constant peril. Like he's in constant like any minute now he could just be shot in the back of the head for all we know. Like and he's constantly afraid of that and he's constantly on watch. But just throughout the story, like Tom's just amazing. Like,
Entertaining,
even more than like any other story, I'd say. Like he really
I think
knocked
it's-
this one out
Yeah,
the park.
I think it's because he gave it his all because he was getting what he wanted as a Doctor-only story. So I think he just put his all into this story, which I
Yeah.
think you can really, really see.
It really shows. It really shows. It's fantastic. And I'd say just like the ending of Part 4 in general, like when everything's crumbling, the haunting music, the Doctor's having to desperately climb up this shaft in order to try and get to the Master. It's just so high intensity and so. And I don't use this word very often, but it's kind of epic in a way. It's,
That is rare. I've never really heard.
No,
say
I
it.
don't
He doesn't
very
say that
often.
word. Yeah, that is. Ooh, yeah. Okay, so yeah, my 3 good ones. Oof. Yeah, tough choice. I'd say the setting up of Gallifrey and all the rules, adding so much lore to it, which has now been, you know, made canon even further by New Who kind of agreeing to it. Like Robert Holmes absolutely knocked it out of the park with this script. I mean, yes, episode 3 has some padding, but it's the good at the moment. So yeah, adding all that lore, all the costumes and everything, and everything Time Lord is like one first good thing.
Yeah.
2, finally bringing back the Master after just about a 3 to 4, almost 4 year gap.
Wait,
was really well done. I worked it out.
73, wasn't it?
I worked it out. It's almost 4 years,
4
because
years.
where it's about kind of when the episodes aired. And bringing that back was really well done, and like how they decided to make him decayed, and that was really, really well done.
It's kind of sad that the Cybermen had a bigger gap.
Oh yeah, that is.
That's weird, like, because the Cybermen, like, they just disappeared after the invasion, just until like the beginning of the era. Meanwhile, the Master, there was a legitimate reason for it.
Yeah, because of an untimely death. Yeah. Shame about the taxi. Anyway, yeah. And then the third good thing is just Tom Baker absolutely gives it his all. Every scene is a delight. Even the main thing keeping you watching for episode 3, I don't think it would have really worked better with any other Doctor, really, that situation.
I could see Sylvester McCoy perhaps pulling it off, but the others maybe not.
Yeah.
Because, like, thinking about survival especially, like, that kind of parallel. I can kind of see it.
Have like what this is though.
No, it's not the same, but you can see elements of it there.
I'd want to see Colin Baker try it, but yeah, to see how he did it. Yeah, I love Colin Baker. Anyway, so on to the bad. 3 bad points if you can get 3.
I don't have 3 points. It's just episode 3 being padding, but even then, that's kind of a nitpick considering how well it's done. Like it may be padding, but it's fantastic padding. And then the cardboard wreckage, which isn't even that big of a point. Like, is there anything else I can pull off the people? Perhaps Goff could have been a little bit more.
Okay, yeah. I have a few, if not many, they're like nitpicks really. So one is, episode 3. Yeah, I could see the padding from far off, especially when I did the fast forward. Like there was only 2 points where I need to press play to get important dialogue.
Yeah.
So it was more like Robert Holmes had a story which fitted 3 episodes, but he had to make it 4.
Yeah.
That's basically.
I'd also say. Wait, I just forgot what I was gonna say.
Anyway, moving on. I also don't think the Master appears in it enough. I think there needed one more scene. One more scene where like we knew who he was and he was talking a bit more for like because this was a big grand return. But then I would have understood that, like not having him much here. But then 5 years later, does he return? Like I thought like this was like, you know, watching this, it's like the reintroduction of the Master. He's going to be about, guys, keep an eye out. And then he all of a sudden didn't appear until 5 years later.
Quick mention. In the clock face at the end when they're leaving.
Yeah,
it looks so odd. Like
I think it's supposed to be he's regenerated a bit. That's because they said, he sucked enough energy to live a little longer.
Yeah, but it just looks kind of off. Like it.
Yeah, so that's kind of like I thought there should have been a bit more Master really, and kind of a third kind of nitpick more than anything wrong is when other Time Lords die, they never regenerate. It's only just been done in Bloomin' Hell Bent with the stupid person, the war guy.
Yeah,
all of the Time Lords die, and are they all on their final regenerations? Because I mean that's kind of unlikely.
Well, the president there clearly was.
Oh yeah, no president, but I mean what's his name again? I forget it. Runcible. He gets stabbed in the back. Easy regeneration. Yeah, so it's just a nitpick. It's like, and then in other stories, like later on, like in the Time Warrior, when Time Lords, when any other Time Lords die, they seem not to like regenerate, and it's kind of it kind of gets me. It's like, come on, just you've made the rules, stick to them. Unless they make like, you know, like our guns are anti regeneration.
But that, like,
Like
For example, in like whilst the Time Lords, well, Marvel went around the Earth looking for the things.
those three things. Yeah, but that was.
Yeah, that wasn't Earth,
fake.
but like, yeah. Well, actually, they did exist. They just like she just didn't plan to use them.
Oh, okay.
But no, the thing, well, if it's that, like, I guess it would be a bit more easier to do if you had like advanced technologies and all that. But I mean, were they necessarily planning that? Especially like, you know, Invasion of Thailand with the Sontara and stuff.
Yeah. Okay, so the nerdy. Conrad, you've probably got a lot of this one. 'Cause I was fetching you too.
Oh, well,
yeah.
I don't know so much.
Okay. Well, this is
really,
the first. This is the first full story to never have a companion, like full story, not episode, like full story. And it's the first appearance of a master since The Frontier in Space, which was the second to last season of John Pertwee. And the actor who played the master had to change because poor Roger Delgado died in a taxi crash. I think it went off like the side and landed in the water, and he sadly perished. And you know, if he'd just got a different taxi, that wouldn't have happened. So yeah, but then we would have had the master being revealed as his brother, as the Doctor's brother, because that's what they're originally going to do in John Pertwee's final story, where the master was going to die. Yeah. So I mean, it's kind of. Yeah, well, I'm kind of glad that they kept the Master's character, but I mean, you know, absolute shame that, you know, poor Roger Delgado died.
Yeah. The Matrix would be a recurring element that would return, like, future stories. This is its first, like, appearance.
Yeah.
So, like,
it appears in Trial of the Time Lords. Yeah, because they're using the Matrix as a thing to view the story.
Yeah.
I can't remember if in Arc of Infinity it's mentioned, but I think Five Doctors it's definitely mentioned. But yeah, so this also mentions about Omega, this story.
Yeah.
And this also brings in the rules of 12 regenerations, 13 bodies.
Yeah.
It also meant the character of Borosa, who reappears in the Invasion of Time, Arc of Infinity, and the Five Doctors. The character keeps appearing, but different regenerations each time, so different actor. The planet where Goff found the Master, funny enough, is actually where Moffat based his 1999 spoof, The Curse of Fatal Death.
Yeah.
That is actually where he based it.
Quite funny, that.
But then it also appears in the audio adventures with the Eighth Doctor. So that's cool.
Yeah, it's cool that they kind of bring back an element which like, a guy's kind of on the brink of death saying, because it's like kind of difficult to make out what he's saying at times.
Yeah. We also find out that the Celestial Intervention Agency were the ones who let the Doctor kind of go away.
So
the
it wasn't
CIA.
just the Time Lords in general.
It was like a subsection. I like that. I was like, oh, you know, adds different things. Like the ones who condemned him were a different bunch as well. You know, it like adds like different ranks, and like, you know, sometimes they go behind each other. So yeah, it was just a very.
Though it's kind of weird after like the whole Three Doctors and everything that you know, that the Doctor would still be kind of known as a criminal.
Yeah. But I mean, you know, the person Robert Holmes has written so many of the good stories.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Ark in Space, which was a story from John Lucarotti, but like. He's the one who actually like penned them, and Caves of Androzani, which might be one of the best classics out there. He also wrote The Two Doctors, which is quite enjoyable. He wrote the first episode of The Ultimate Foe before he sadly passed away, and then the second part had to be finished for him. But he wrote The Talons of Weng Chiang, Terror of the Auton, Spear in Space, Carnival of Monsters, The Time Warrior. So, you know, he kind of even.
And he was planned to write the Five Doctors.
Yeah, he was planned to write the Five Doctors, but then he had to pull out due to other commitments. So, I mean, Robert Holmes is one of the kind of defining writers. I think he's
the best of
the best classic era. He's writing the best core, because, I mean, Pyramids of Mars and Brain of Morbius. I mean, you know, you can't beat those stories. He's got too many to his name. I mean, Ben Aranovich, he wrote good stories, but he only wrote 2. Like, the amount of good ones that Robert Holmes have written.
There are lots of good ones.
There's Terra Nation, John Lucaruti, like the Aztecs is absolutely fantastic. I love the Aztecs. But yeah, it's like Robert Holmes is the one person who kept coming back and smashing it out of the park, really.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
So that's kind of the nerdy for you about this story. So, conclusion, Comrade.
Okay. So this story is just amazing. Like, everything from its world to the characters that you meet within it, to how it builds intrigue, how it it grips you immediately and doesn't let go really throughout the entirety of the episode, especially upon first time watching. Like, every bit of the story will keep you intrigued, it's be intense, or you'll just keep on the edge of your seat for a lot of it. Like, what's going to happen next? It's just so. It builds a lot of the rules of the Time Lords. It introduces like a lot of lore and all that, and the final part is like, as I mentioned earlier, kind of epic in its execution, like the music and everything crumbling in Gallifrey and everything just kind of being at the brink. Part 3 being padding. We won't know so much in your first thing, but it is
Repeat watchings.
Yeah, on repeat watchings it is noticeable. But I still think that the way, even if it is padding, the way they did it was fantastic. Like, it was intense. You're always on the edge of the seat, and the Doctor was very vulnerable throughout. So it's like really just kind of a nitpick as a whole. Like, considering how well they did it, despite it being a thing, it kind of evens out in that regard for me. That's why it gets my rating of 9 out of 10.
Okay, thanks for the banter. We always do out of 10, so it's not like a big thing. 9 out of 9! Oh! Messing it up. Okay, my conclusion. The Deadly Assassin is a special story for many reasons. With the long-awaited return of the Master, the first story without a companion, and finally an entire story set on Gallifrey. It had a lot to live up to. With trying to do the usual Doctor is in the wrong place at the wrong time and gets blamed for it, and they managed to make it kind of feel a lot more fresher and different by having the Doctor see his future to start with him like shooting kind of
it makes more sense here because, like, unlike some stories where it's just like random strangers blaming the Doctor, this time there's like people with like a backstory.
Even the audience are kind of like, oh, the Doctor did do it. Anyway, yes. So the story flows well and adds a lot more to the Time Lords, including classes and a lot more ranks. Episode 3 does feel a bit like padding. You can actually fast forward and watch the Doctor in the Matrix scene and not miss anything at double speed, as there are so few lines. I feel Robert Holmes had an idea that only lasted 3 episodes, but he had to make it 4, so he ended up having to pad episode 3 massively. Sadly, I don't think the Master appears enough, and even did the reveal in episode 1, which meant they weren't doing all this big build-up of, oh, who is it? They show him straight away, so they kind of could have just got on with like the Master appearing. So I give The Deadly Assassin 9 out of 10 due to being a fantastic story which feels fresh within the series. The threat is well done and the Matrix really is creepy. You can feel the Doctor is truly helpless within there. But with the blatant pattern in episode 3 and I think a little too not enough of the Master basically for his big return after a 4 years absence is really disappointing, especially as he doesn't appear until the Keeper of Charkan almost 5 years later after this one aired.
No, you didn't know that at the time.
At the time. If he'd returned later, I might have given this one maybe a 10, but because of I'm doing on rewatchability and as first time watching, it's a 9 out of 10. If it was first time watching, probably a 10 out of 10 because it's just so pulls you in. But once you know what's happening, kind of episode 3 becomes a bit more, not like a chore, but kind of something that you kind of want to do, but not like you're not enthusiastic to do. It's kind of you have to get through this and then get to the really good episode 4. So yeah, 9 out of 10, but definitely could still be in top. Definitely is in top 20 ever Doctor Who stories, and then probably top 15 classics. So there we go. That is our kind of discussion review on The Deadly Assassin. We hope you enjoyed listening to us ramble on. Once again, if you listen to all our podcasts, thank you very much.
You can subscribe if you want, or you can not if you want to. I mean, you don't have to be a goth and just come along with it just because you
want power. Saying that, we'll unsubscribe to you because you gave something I like a bad review. Remember, this is all our own opinions. You might give it a 10. Comment below your good and bad points. You know, it's great to hear what other people have to say about it. You know, we will reply to the really interesting
Except you,
ones.
Jim.
Yeah, god damn it.
Got
Jim.
you.
Shut up, Jim. But yeah, so yes, please, you know, share on all our videos what your thoughts are as well. You know, if you totally disagree with us, let us know, but don't go all like, oh my god, because we will listen to your opinion. You don't need to shove it down our throats, because we're up to listening, and you know, we may repeat
I
stuff.
like my airbags being clear.
Yeah, so yeah. So thank you very much for listening. We are the Eyes of Harmony, and that was our Deadly Assassin review. So
We think.
see you next time. Bye.